Welcome back to Insert Brain here, a Simpsons podcast. I'm your host, Connor, and with me, as always, is my co-host, David.
That's me.
Today, is there a chill in the air?
No, I
is
can
there
feel it.
a howling outside? Is there another spooky thing, a third one? My God, it's the scariest time of the year. January.
Yeah, it didn't quite line up, did it?
Christmas is finished. New Year is over. But the food gut remains.
Aye.
It's been long enough to where the New Year's resolutions have failed.
Twice over.
And it's all gone to shit.
Time for a Treehouse of Horror.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The Simpsons Season 2, Episode 3, Treehouse of Horror, aka The Simpsons Halloween Special.
Yeah.
Which is what comes up at the start of the episode.
Yes, it
as
does.
we just saw.
Yeah.
Original air date, 25th October, 1990.
Very good.
Now, because this is a very special episode, David, we're going to split it up into 3 segments, unlike our usual show.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically 3 or maybe even 4 times the amount of regular podcasts that you would get.
Yeah.
I'm talking only one eye on Springfield. Only one? But I'm talking 4 3 Blind Mice Trivias.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Can't wait.
Could you summarise the wraparound for me?
The wraparound.
You know, the intro and the kind of that wraparound.
I have no idea what you want me to say.
You know, the wraparound.
You're saying this like we talk about the wraparound, but we don't.
My God, David. My hands are going to wrap around your neck in a second.
That's the only wraparound I'm thinking of.
The wraparound is the wraparound. The wraparound covers the gaps that you see betwixt the short stories, betwixt, you know, at the intro.
Right.
How it cuts back to Bart and... I'll do it.
Right.
The general wraparound for this episode.
I realise now what you were actually trying to get me to talk about.
What can you do? What can you do?
Talk about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So, as Connor may have mentioned, the wraparound for this episode is, we start off with Marge introducing the show and pointing out that basically, if you don't want your kids to watch it and get nightmares, don't fucking watch it.
Which is, here's a little slice of trivia for you, slipped in nice and tight.
Yeah.
That's a reference to James Whale's 1931 film Frankenstein.
Yeah.
The one with Boris Karloff.
All right, nice.
That film opens with a scene where a guy comes out and explains that the film is especially terrifying and that you shouldn't watch it if you have a weak asshole. If you're prone to shitsing yourself.
That's the one.
You should vacate the cinema.
Very good. Very good.
Mm.
Probably crammed in at that point. You can't actually get the car to
No.
move. So just close your eyes and...
Crammed in the car.
Yeah.
Oh, like a drive-through?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking like a classic theatre.
Well, yeah, I suppose it would be on...
1931.
Yeah.
There were no cars in 1931.
Yeah, there were.
Fun fact.
Fun bullshit. Yeah, there were.
Anything's a fun fact if you say it on a podcast.
Sure. Especially this one.
There weren't any cars until after World War II, actually.
Yes.
All tanks were powered Flintstone style.
Yes,
That's why they needed so many men inside of them.
That's exactly why. There were usually only like a handful of guys in tanks anyway, weren't they? Pretty sure most tanks there was only about 6.
I've seen the movie Fury.
Yes, and there are about 5 guys.
There's Logan Lerman.
Yeah.
There's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
There's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
There's The Punisher.
Yeah.
And there's Michael Pena.
Yeah.
John Bernthal. Logan Lerman, Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, Punisher. Is that all of them? Is there not a 6th? No, that's everyone.
So, like I just said, 5.
5.
Yeah.
You know who else is in that?
Many.
You know who else? You know who isn't in Fury? The Simpsons.
Yes.
Because it's set in World War II.
Not The Simpsons.
No. Well, some of the episodes are.
Well, yes, they are.
There's some stuff.
Later on.
But not
So
this
the
episode.
wraparound.
This episode is set in October 1990.
Yeah. The wraparound.
Yes.
Bart and Lisa are deciding to tell each other stories. Lisa's finishing off a story that is Lisa's finishing off a story that is sort of like a traditional campfire story. Terrible one.
The call is coming from inside the house, kind of nonsense.
That's right.
Yeah.
And rightly so, Bart's like, that was terrible. It's like, I'll tell a better one. Lisa's like, go for it. Here's a torch. And he kicks us off with the first story.
That's right, which is called...
I thought you were about to tell me what it's called. Which is called...
I wanted to throw it to you to see if you could remember it. It
not
came
a
up on the
chance.
TV.
I'm aware. I read it at the time.
Bad Dream
Oh yeah, that was
House.
a Bad Dream House. I was thinking of the second one. I was trying to remember what the first one was about. We haven't even watched the second one, might I point out right now.
No, we have not. You know what it's time for?
In Springfield?
No.
No.
It's time for Three Blind Mice Trivia.
Oh, okay.
I'm waggling my finger in the air. This is the only Treehouse of Horror to be set in a treehouse.
Very good.
And it's not even called Treehouse of Horror. It's called The Simpsons Spooky Time Spectacular.
It might as well be.
Paul McCartney's gravestone in the opening credits is a reference to the Paul is Dead Beatles conspiracy theory.
Right, yeah.
This is the first Simpsons episode to be scored by Alf Clausen.
Okay.
He scored every episode from this until he left the show in 2017.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was quite a bit.
Quite the run.
Yeah.
Quite the run.
Yeah.
In 2011, staff writer Al Jean commented on the episode, "The idea of it to parody EC Comics was really original and kind of shocking for a cartoon on network television." Executive producer Jim Brooks said, "We better have a disclaimer at the beginning of this Halloween show." So Marge came out and warned people that they were going to see something scary. And the funny thing is, it's very tame by our Halloween standards today, and by network animation standards. According to M. Keith Booker, author of Drawn to Television, the warning only made the episode more attractive to children.
Nice.
Absolutely incredible.
Very good.
David, what's the summary of Bad Dream House? You may not have realised until now that you're going to have to do 4 summaries in this episode.
Oh, you fucking cunt.
4 of the worst part of this podcast.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If you're listening, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. No one is.
Yeah, you're not that wrong.
You have about 50 loyal listeners who listen to every episode.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got people who listen.
We've got a smattering of 6 people.
And we love all of you.
We do.
Like, subscribe, leave a review.
Some other shit.
Please.
Yes, aye. Please.
What's Bad Dream House about?
They think they buy a dream house. Turns out it's bad.
They think the Bad Dream House. Turns out it's bad.
Yeah. They think they buy a dream house. They think they buy a dream house, and it turns out it's bad. That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you meant, they think the Bad Dream House?
All right, you thought I just sort of failed the English.
I was like, all right.
Well, it's fair.
Yeah.
It's been done before.
It's the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
Mixed with kind of poltergeist.
Yes.
Have you seen the Amityville Horror?
I have, but it has been quite some time.
I've actually never seen it.
Have you not?
No.
Well, there we go. A movie I've seen that you haven't.
And a horror film like that, my God.
That might be a first.
No, Ginger Snaps.
Oh, it wasn't a first. Yeah.
So, the Simpsons family move. I like how you've managed to.
Yeah, I've pushed it right off.
The Simpsons family move into this big fancy house. How could they afford it? Haunted.
Yes. Desperately trying to get rid of it, whoever it was.
And that's it. That's the entire thing.
That's
very simple premise.
Yep.
Lampoons, as we said, the Amityville Horror. And
bit of poltergeist.
A little bit of poltergeist.
Yeah.
And kind of the movie House.
Yeah.
The American House from the 80s, not the Japanese House.
Oh, right. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking that one. But yeah.
What did you think of Bad Dream House.
I quite liked it. I thought it was nice. It was quite concise. And the gag at the end was pretty good. But the house wishing to destroy itself, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Rather than be with the
Simpsons. Where they, as Lisa said, would, try and like love them and whatever. Yeah. So
spent enough time with Bart and Homer. And got shouted at by Marge.
Yeah, got told off.
Yeah. told off to such a point where it started to change colour.
Yeah. It lost colour.
The colour drained from its wallpaper.
Yeah. And
that ending effect of the house crumpling up is directly taken from the ending of Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's really quite good. I thought it was pretty interesting.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's alright. It's very much the cookie cutter.
Oh, yeah.
Basic.
Yeah, it's...
What if The Simpsons, but in a kind of horror concept?
Yeah.
I think a lot of these...
To be fair... Oh, it's some kind of moving house.
Oh, perfect. Someone's moving house
time.
Outside.
Right outside your window.
Lovely stuff. Right. Shove your microphone outside the window and let's pick up on
I'll crack it open and dangle it down on a string. So, it is very sort of just plonk The Simpsons into, well, we've named the movies already, into those movies or a combination of those three films.
Yeah.
And what if, in the shortest, concisest story they could really get away with.
Mm-hmm. Throw in a couple of references to other horror movies.
Yeah.
Maggie's head spins round, which is a reference to The Exorcist.
Yes, yeah.
Homer's obviously kind of designed to look like Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's still okay for it's still a good episode or a good part of the episode. Remember, this is the first time.
This is the first horror segment.
This is the first horror segment. And I am a big fan, and you are also a big fan of Treehouse of Horror episodes.
Every October I make it my mission to watch one Treehouse of Horror episode every day at least for the month of October.
Right.
Because at one point there was 31. There's no more.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no 33. Actually 34 because there was 1 year they had 2.
Right.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah.
It's like season 32 or something.
One day. Many years from now. But yeah, so...
It's it's another one that we've talked about before where certain episode concepts, because we're looking at these in hindsight and we've seen so many other episodes where it's been like, this is just alright.
Yeah.
It's hard not to compare Bad Dream House to The Shining.
Yeah.
Which is obviously...
like much later on and way better.
Yeah, I always say that's like 3 seasons from now. Maybe even 4.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what season it's in.
But
it's in that area, so yeah, it's a good bit of time away from now and a good bit of sort of character development and also the people making the show, they grow and they get better at it as they go. So also pretty sure at that point that would still be considered like the sort of glory days of The Simpsons as well.
Oh, what people refer to as the golden era.
Yeah, that's the one, the golden era of The Simpsons. So that'd still be in that sort of neck of the woods, wouldn't it? So
yeah, I think at some point we're going to do much later on, we'll do an episode where we just talk about the idea of the golden era and whether or not it
actually kind of
exists and what people think of it as. No, the whole thing about that.
Yeah.
You want some trivia for Bad Dream House?
Yes, I would.
The Indian burial ground under the house, which is a classic horror trope, contains the graves of Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, Pocahontas, Geronimo, Tonto, Sacagawea, Not So Crazy Horse, and Mahatma Gandhi. The joke here being that Gandhi was Indian from India and not the American Indian, Native American kind of concept.
Yeah.
Very good. Harry Shearer provides the voice of the Bad Dream House. This episode shows up in the movie My Own Private Idaho with Keanu Reeves and River Phoenix.
Try that again.
Nah. If the text message picked up in the mic, it's going in.
Oh, fair enough.
The house interior is loosely modelled after the Amityville Horror, but the exterior is actually closer to the house from the Addams Family.
I was wondering about that because it does look very...
It's that tower at the top that really stands out with the big round window.
Yeah.
And the objects flying around is inspired by Poltergeist.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Very good. Very good.
That's all I have. Let's go watch segment 2 and then we'll come back and we'll murmur a bunch of shit into a microphone about that.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
We're back.
Yeah.
After having watched the segment, David. Segment title was...
I forgot it. It's the aliens, though.
Hungry Are the Damned.
Thank you. Fucking hell.
My God.
Yeah,
David, summarize. Not that old.
Yeah, I know.
Summarize for me. Hungry Are the Damned. Second segment of 3 of this Treehouse of Horror episode.
Bart's story again. So the warm-up story was the last one. Bart cracks into this story. We sort of open up with family barbecue. A whole bunch of flies and mosquitoes. Homer turns on the fucking zap buzzy thing, kills them all, starts fucking pouring in an absolute... Empties an entire bottle of Firestar into his barbecue.
Some sort of kerosene.
Presumably kerosene or something like that. But yeah. Lights it. Nuclear bomb-sized flame comes out of it. Mushroom-shaped flame.
Can be seen from space, probably.
Presumably that's why the aliens then rock up.
Exactly. You see that.
It's Lisa that notices it first. She's lying down, chewing on a bit of grass.
Yeah, really great
watching the
scene
sky
as she sees it come up from behind Bart's head.
Yes, yeah.
Really great animation.
Some really quite interesting animation in this.
Really great use of colour as well.
Yes. I think probably across all 3, but we haven't watched the third one yet. It's been actually a couple of years since I've watched the first set of Treehouse of Horror. So
me as well. I didn't watch it this October past because that's when we were going to record this episode.
Yeah, a little behind, but whatever. It is what it is.
What can you do?
Yeah. So
it's only been 4 months.
Only. Yeah. So the spaceship opens up with we sort of beam
gravitational beam portal
to lift everyone up.
Pulls up the Simpsons family
one by one. Yanks him up into the spaceship.
Struggles a bit with Homer.
Very much struggles with Homer. So it implies a second beam to lift him further up as well. Eventually, everyone's on board. Homer finishes his initial burger. He's munching it as he gets beamed up, as you do. Then we meet the aliens for the first time.
Yes,
we do. I can't even remember their names.
You don't remember? I understand not remembering.
The fourth one's name?
Or the third one's name that never shows up again either.
Yeah.
You remember the aliens? You don't remember their names?
I've never remembered their names.
Kang and Kodos.
There you go.
And that's shocking for a co-host of a Simpsons podcast. Yeah.
You've got to have the one guy that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That's obviously me.
But this is a podcast where there's 2 guys who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's true.
That's why it's so successful. We're breaking the formula.
That is exactly right. Yeah,
but they're brought up to the spaceship and they're fed a banquet of meals, a rotating kind of.
Yeah, it's constantly dinner time, basically.
Yeah, and the Simpsons never get full; they just eat and eat.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that though. I'm not really surprised by that.
No,
and it seems to be like the first meal at the very least is everyone's favorite meal. Also, Maggie doesn't get any food at that particular meal, but that's another thing.
Doesn't seem to get any food at all.
No, she does. She gets a plate and a fork later on in the second meal.
A plate and a fork? She's only a little baby.
Yeah, she's sitting there sucking with her dummy holding a fork.
Wow, she should be getting some baby food.
Yeah.
Or milk or whatever.
Something. Anyway.
Some sort of milk.
Yeah. I think we both know where that went. So anyway. So some of the things, the way the aliens are talking, Lisa gets a bit suspicious and decides to take a wee wander.
Yeah.
Wanders down and finds the kitchen where she sees the way the aliens talking that's preparing it is saying about the fact that this will make the humans taste good.
Yes.
As opposed to,
Taste good for
the humans.
Mm.
So she finds a cookbook that says
how to cook humans. Yeah.
And brings it back to show the family. Another really nice scene that I pointed out at the time we were watching it is the corridor are coming from the kitchen to where they are. She points that out. The aliens sort of come along wondering why they've stopped eating.
A lovely joke. It's not how to cook humans, it's how to cook for humans. And then it's actually how to cook 40 humans.
Yes.
And it's actually how to cook for 40 humans.
Yeah. And then because of the fact that they questioned that and they questioned
they implied that the aliens were going to eat them.
Yes. So they dropped them back off in their yard.
Yeah.
And said, well, fuck you then. Because
yeah, pretty much.
And so everyone's like, oh, thanks, Lisa. When you're too smart for your own good, this is what we mean.
You've ruined another Simpsons family outing.
Yeah. And that's the episode.
Very good
summary.
That's
the segment.
That's the segment, yes.
Yeah.
You know what it's time for, David?
What is it time for? 3 Billion Mice trivia?
No.
I always get it wrong. There we go. Iron Springfield. You can't see the fact that he's currently dancing.
It's Iron Springfield.
That's the one.
My God, this is a segment where I recap to you everyone who's made their first appearance in this particular episode of The Simpsons.
Yes.
Who do you think I'm going to talk about just now?
The aliens?
You're damn right. The only characters to make their first appearance in this episode.
Right. I can't even remember what the third segment of this actually is coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I honestly can't remember that.
I know what it is.
Yeah, I know you would know. You've watched it loads of times.
First appearance of Kang.
Yes.
It's one of the aliens.
Yeah.
First appearance of Kodos.
Also one of the aliens?
Also one of the aliens. Yeah. Those are the two aliens that show up
actually
most.
Come back.
I have an answer to our question. What's with that fourth alien?
Yeah.
There's one
shot.
This. There's usually only two aliens.
I suspected that there was more than 3 when I heard distinct voices. So there was 2 sets of times where there were 3 of them.
One of them is Harry Shearer. One of them is Dan Castellaneta.
Right.
Or maybe one's Hank Azaria and one's Dan Castellaneta.
Well, there was 2 scenes in there where 3 of them are talking, and then one of the scenes I was like, that's the 2 that I know the voices of.
Yes.
And that's one I don't know.
Do you want to know who provides the voice for the third alien, whose voice you don't recognise? It's James Earl Jones.
I fucking knew I knew that voice.
He plays Serac the Preparer.
Right.
His one is in the kitchen.
Yeah, the one crying about the fact that...
That's James Earl Jones. That's Darth Vader.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I knew the voice. I just didn't know where from.
The fourth alien is the one from the beginning whose name is unpronounceable.
Yes, because his voice, that's what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. The preparer guy wasn't the same alien as the unpronounceable one, because I was like, that's not the same voice. So I was like, there's either a non-agreed amount of aliens and they're just picking out voices at random, or there's definitely more than the 3 that we'd seen in every scene up till that point, until we saw the 4 at the very sort of last scene.
Well, usually going forward, there's only 2.
Yeah.
Serac the Preparer never shows up again,
and
neither does the one whose name is unpronounceable. It's usually just Kang and Kodos.
It's good that their names are pronounceable.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's the end of Ions. I forgot I have to do the song again.
Yeah.
I have to do the song again.
You know we're on season 2, right? You're dancing for a podcast. I might say it's generously considered dancing. It's
Well, I'm
probably.
sitting down.
I'm aware.
only so much
You're also
dancing.
sitting down in a chair that creaks a
And
lot. So if
doesn't
you move,
seat properly and
Yeah.
rocks around. And also, I have a podcast
also-
microphone in front of me. I don't
yeah.
make too much noise with my sick twisting moves. And also, my dancing in the outro, I will admit, was a lot more lackluster.
yes, yeah.
That was on
That
Springfield.
time, it was definitely a case of couldn't be fucked. Yeah, just
Yeah.
it kind of a little bit looked like you were just unenthusiastically jacking off about 6 people.
Couple of ghosts.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Treehouse of Horror episode.
It is.
Couple of ghosty hand jobs.
If by the end of this episode you're just covered in an ethereal white film, then
In the words of Bill Murray in Ghostbusters, he slimed me. What did you think of this segment?
I thought it was pretty decent. Again, I think it's one of the ones that kind of falls under the.
We
We've
see a
seen
lot of
better
Kang and Kodos
later
and a
on.
lot of alien stuff moving forward. Not even
Yeah.
in Treehouse of Horror.
No.
There's the X-Files crossover.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which does feature one of Kang and Kodos
Yeah.
in a police lineup.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's taken back in time. Like,
Chewbacca and Marvin the Martian and the alien from The Day the Earth Stood Still and one other alien that I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't remember most of that shit.
The,
I wouldn't have even remembered that in the first place.
digging
so that
into
you
my
prompted
memory
it.
here. No, I think this is a big step up from the first segment. Though.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
much funnier.
Yes, it is.
The first segment feels, if I may be so bold, like season 1.
Yeah.
This
I'll give you
segment
that
feels
one.
like sort of season 3, 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's some of the best animation we've seen from the show so far.
Yeah.
I love the use of colour.
Yes,
I
definitely.
wouldn't even go as far as to say, in terms of the use of colour, this is the best. Full stop. Best that comes to mind anyway. I'm sure there's some incredible.
That bowling segment, the bowling thing from that was pretty damn good use of colour
It's
as well.
pretty good, but I mean, like, the use of blues and reds and greens in this
I
one.
suppose.
That shot of Lisa looking up at the spaceship when it first lands and she's entirely green.
Yeah, yeah.
And they do a thing called I can't remember the name of the camera movement. It's something that real movies do, where you would move the camera and zoom at the same time.
Yes,
And
yeah.
it separates the first layer of. It's vertigo. It's the vertigo thing.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do it
yeah.
in Jaws and a bunch of other movies.
Yeah.
But they recreate that effect here.
Yeah,
In
animation, which is quite impressive.
Yeah,
I think,
especially for the time, 1990.
I'm not entirely certain what kind of animation. There must be 3D animation they're using for this.
For this?
Yeah, well, it's like, as in, not like 3D, not full 3D, not 3D rendered objects or anything like that, but I meant 3D as in, like, there's, in the similar way that Disney changed the way that they, that animated films were being made, that the backgrounds are one quite literal layer, and then there's, and then above it, there is that, and then the camera's kind of there, you know what I mean? In a similar way, but this is all digital, obviously, so it's not like drawn animation, but
this is drawn animation.
That's digitally drawn animation, isn't it? Most of it.
This is 1990. There's no digitally drawn animation. This is hand drawn. These early seasons are hand drawn.
This is really good. Fucking impressive.
I've definitely covered that in season 1 as well.
Yeah.
I've definitely mentioned it was hand drawn.
Season 1 looks like it's hand drawn.
Season 1 looks like
looks like someone with some crayons
things,
rocked up and started drawing on it. But this actually looks a lot less. That's
they just reference sheets. Again, I keep saying at some point we'll do an episode where we go through all the what is referred to as the Simpsons no sheets.
Right. Things you just
where it's like, don't draw the eyes like this. Bart has to have this many spikes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that they have this kind of a consistency, which season 1 did not have.
No, it did not. Definitely not.
And we're starting to see that implemented now, and I think it becomes
much more prominent, I guess.
And the animation's digitally now, definitely.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you would build. I think there's definitely. I've seen a few more modern episodes and stuff like that, and I was like, you can really see that it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
very
HD now
polished
as well.
Yeah, it's very polished.
Yeah,
but I suppose no, it must be. It must be like layered animation. It's bound to be layered animation.
Yeah, it will be.
But yeah, the way they do the camera tricks, despite it being
to recreate
with layered animation, is really quite impressive, because you got to move the layers whilst moving the camera to get that kind of effect. In that, that's one of the things that machine that Disney made to make their animations. Their zoom in scenes where the camera passes the foliage and all that kind of stuff.
Is that in Snow White?
That was Snow White. I think was the first one to actually have any of that.
Yeah,
and that I'm pretty sure I saw a documentary thing about it. But anyway, it was actually really quite impressive stuff, and that's fucking massive machine, huge thing.
And now Disney animated movies look like shit
most of the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They all look kind of the same, I find.
All the same, all 3D, all...
How fast can you pump it out, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I really love that Pong joke as well.
Pong joke? What was that one, sorry?
Remember when the aliens are looking at this advanced tech and it's the game Pong?
Yeah.
And I mean, we're around about this time that the Simpsons arcade game came out.
Yes.
Which is a lot better than Pong.
Yeah.
It's a fun joke.
Yeah. No, it's good. What else can we say about this episode?
Kang and Kodos are massive.
They are a lot bigger.
The aliens in general are
a lot bigger than I thought they were.
Like, they're much smaller in future appearances, because I think in future Homer would be, the top of his head is about the bottom of their eye.
Right.
And in this, it's like the top of Homer's head is at the base.
The base of their mouth, sort of thing.
Aye, the bottom of their mouth, the top of the little metal thing.
Yeah.
They are ginormous.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah. Definitely, I think a good step up from the first segment.
Yeah.
But it still feels like it's a little bit of a... It's still a case of we're looking back on it after having seen better episodes of Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah.
So it's always going to get a little bit of a tint like this. But
maybe at the end of this episode we'll rank these 3 segments.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Because I know what my favourite one is.
Okay, yeah.
The third one.
I have yet to see this one.
Yes.
In the last about 4 years at least. So, yeah.
Do you want to jump into some trivia for this?
Yeah, let's go for it.
In order to create the drilling sound for the alien, special guest star James Earl Jones chewed a cookie close to his microphone.
All right.
This is the only appearance of Serac the Preparer and the fourth alien. His name is unpronounceable. According to Matt Groening, his original intention was to reveal the final title of the Alien Cookbook to be How to Cook for 40 Humans and Then Eat Them. And you can see there's kind of a gap at the bottom of the book where that text would fit in. But I think it's funnier.
I think it's better off being
this way.
Yeah.
The names of Kang and Kodos and Serac are all taken from Star Trek. Serac is the name of Spock's father. Kodos is the name of a character from The Conscience of the King. And Kang is the name of a Klingon in the episode Day of the Dove.
I didn't know the first 2, but I knew about Spock's father.
Yeah. I'm not a massive Star Trek fan.
Me neither. But I knew about that one. I had actually watched a few episodes of Star Trek. I wasn't a big fan. I was much more of a Star Wars person.
Me too. I tried to watch all of Star Trek once, and I got through the first season of the original series, and I was just like,
that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call it there.
I just couldn't take half of it seriously. Like, if I'd watched it at the time, I'm sure it would have been different.
You know what the issue was for me with Star Trek is?
What?
There's just so fucking much of it.
Yeah, there is.
And every episode is like an hour long, and there's 10 seasons of Next Generation and 3 seasons of the original and 2 seasons of the animated show, and there's 15 movies, and there's Genesis, and there's fucking Deep Space Nine, and there's Enterprise, and there's a new animated show now, and there's another animated show, and there's 3 more movies, and there's a web. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much Star Trek.
Yeah.
Please remove 3 shows.
At least.
Whoever owns the rights to Star Trek. CBS? Amazon?
I have no idea.
The segment Hungry Are the Damned, which is this one, appears to be based on the Twilight Zone episode To Serve Man from 1962. To Serve Men is an alien text that is later found out to be a cookbook. Humans are also weighed before being able to board the alien spacecraft in the episode. Homer's Mafia staff apron, which we thought was inspired by a popular wave of bumper stickers reading Mafia staff car, caused by the popularity of the Godfather trilogy.
Oh, right. Fair enough. I did not know that was a bumper sticker.
Mafia trilogy, which would have concluded in this year.
Right.
1990, that's when Godfather 3 came out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a bad film.
Yes.
The aliens originally didn't have deep voices. The actors went with a voice closer to the Scraggle Muppets from SNL. I have no frame of reference for what a Scraggle Muppet is.
Absolutely no idea.
Let's not look it up.
No.
The spaceship is inspired by the Nostromo from Alien. I'm assuming they mean the interiors, because the exterior is like a classic UFO. I think
the interior, I can see that. That corridor that Lisa was coming back through, that you could definitely see that as I
would love
alien.
A full-on alien parody.
Oh yeah,
in a Treehouse of Horror. I don't think they've ever done it, but they've done references to it and stuff. But I would love like a full-on
full long ass episode.
Yeah, not even the Treehouse of Horror. Like what a perfect movie.
Yeah,
that's all the 3 Blind Mice trivia.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
That's all of it.
Are we wanting to batter on, or?
There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Did you notice that the buzzer thing that kills the flies?
Insects. Yeah.
The insects thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's right above the barbecue.
Yes, it is.
So every bug that was zapped and killed by that thing fell right into the barbecue.
Yes.
And got fried into Homer's burger.
Pretty much.
That's all I wanted to say.
Extra protein. As they say.
Extra protein. Yeah.
Also, when the hell did he cook that burger?
Yeah, he heats it up in the spaceship
blew up a thing,
and he just has a burger in his hand.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like a burger that he made, like a Rustler burger he made in the microwave before he even started.
Before he did that. That makes almost no sense, because everyone else's burgers were getting cold, is what he said.
Yeah.
When he came up. It's like, your burgers are getting cold. Literally about 3 seconds had passed since
it was
starting.
To be fair, did you see the size of that flame? It would have cooked them instantly.
True.
Charcoaled them instantly.
True. The outside of it would have been charcoaled.
Yeah, the inside would be
pink. Would be raw and still cold.
But I'm sure Homer would have.
I'm sure, he would have eaten it anyway.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah.
That's everything.
Yeah, I think so.
On to segment 3.
Segment 3.
Oh, how exciting.
Very good. Let's go.
And we're back.
We are indeed.
We're back again from part 3 of Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
That's the one. The Raven.
The Raven. Before I could even get the words beyond my lips, you've answered my question before it could be asked.
Yep.
The Raven.
The Raven. What was it about, Connor?
No!
Yes.
Remove your beak from within my heart. The Raven is obviously a lampooning of Edgar Allan Poe's classic short story, The Raven.
Yes.
Except with Bart as the Raven and Homer as the protagonist, the main character.
Yeah.
That's about as much as you can say, because it's just The Raven.
Yeah, pretty much.
With James Earl Jones obviously providing the narration.
Yeah. Very good.
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah. It was really good.
It's my second favourite version of The Raven that I've ever heard.
Right.
I think the best one would be Christopher Lee did a reading of it.
I think I've actually heard this reading of it, actually. Yeah. Pretty sure we actually... I think
listened to it together.
we looked at possibly, but I'm sure I'm sure we ended up looking at it. Would that be at college? For some reason or another?
I want to say it was after college. I want to say it was pandemic times or just before the pandemic.
Probably.
I want to say we were walking through some abandoned building. Was that not one of the sort of things we were going to play?
Oh,
I think we we ended up, it was too long and we didn't actually.
It never actually got. Well, we ended up.
Did we play it in the main kind of chamber of this abandoned building that we were exploring?
No.
The main staircase. No.
It was one of the ones that I think it was at the end of the very long playlist of things where like, oh, we could do this.
Yeah. Never quite got around to it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
I would say this is my second favourite version of the Raven behind the Christopher Lee version.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. I love how straight it's presented, how serious they take it for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a few good jokes in there, but it's really...
It's really just a telling of it, isn't it?
It feels more like a love letter to the Raven than anything else.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like it.
I love just sort of...
I'm surprised I even forgot that was the third segment. I don't know, maybe I thought it was one of the other...
Like from one of the other... Or three not two.
Three or four. Yeah. I must have done because I didn't think that was in there.
Yeah.
But, hey.
Something I would say about not just the Raven, but this entire episode is I love the colour palette. They've very specifically gone with lots of autumny colours and also lots of like dark greens and dark blues and bright reds, very, very spooky colours.
Yeah, spooky and contrasting colours, that kind of stuff.
Which is not something that I think they keep up even next Halloween special.
All right.
I'll remember I've said this when we covered that one and we'll have a look, but I want to say that it's really just this one that has that vibe, that classic late night spooky Halloween session vibe.
Yeah. I think it's quite maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, we've stated it as if it's fact in the past and it's been wrong, but
you don't call it 3 blind mice trivia for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I think it might be an older sort of thing when it comes to films, because I think a lot of not exclusively, but I think a lot of playing around with like color started more along the time of obviously color TVs. Color broadcast was even possible. And at that point, I think that's when people started investigating what color can do to the feel of a scene. And I think some of the horror films coming around not too long after that started really are the ones that tend to do that more. They're really the ones that sort of do a lot of playing with the colour of the scene, putting lots of filters on the lights and all that kind of stuff.
You look at like Italian giallo films.
Right, yeah.
They'll have like entire scenes that are just bathed in purple.
Yeah.
Or red or green.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make any sense logistically inside the world of the film.
Yes, yeah.
There's no reason that this entire room would be bathed in a blue light.
Exactly.
Unless it was a film where someone had put a blue gel
filter
over the light, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that, especially in animation from around this period, if you think about what's that animation film that you like? Ichabod and Crane.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the Disney one.
Yeah.
That has a very similar feel to this.
It does, yes.
It has that same kind of palette of...
I think also with that one as well, with this, there was a lot of odd camera angles and odd perspectives in The Raven. So a lot of really low camera shots from like down near Homer's knee,
or
looking up past them, or really high ones from the ceiling. Yes,
in a weird kind of a diagonal.
And if you look, the actual perspective of the rest of the room is ever so slightly off.
Yeah,
it's not massively out of proportion, but it is off. And I think that's just another way of trying to like creep you out
make a little bit,
make you feel uneasy, and just put a lot of a disconnect in your head about this can't be quite right.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, which appreciate, because they can definitely do perspective.
They
they've
do
got
a
it
lot
down.
of interesting camera choices.
Yes.
We say camera, we know, not literal
aye.
camera, because
But yeah,
like
it's
having
it's
a shot
essentially
from
a pretend
behind
camera.
the Raven's head at one point, where you can see the top of Bart, the Raven's head, down past him to Homer. In the background.
No, it was quite good. I quite liked that. That was some very good animation. It was a really good sort of homage to the Raven, and
it's a nice contrast to the first two as well.
Yeah.
Which are both more like just modern Simpsons.
Yeah.
Being plopped into a new situation,
into a movie, or
on a spaceship
like,
with aliens, or they're in a,
which is a bit more of a funnier one. You've got the what would the Simpsons do in this movie setting?
Yeah,
you've got this is the Simpsons just sort of doing a Simpson thing, and it's a bit more humorous. And then you've got like a really almost like a serious take on the Raven.
Yeah,
a famous classic. So that's cool.
For a second, I thought my mic
was not. I saw the cable, and I thought it was unplugged at the other end as well.
So I was sure I could see the lights. Let's jump into 3 Blind Mice trivia for the Raven.
Yep.
Matt Groening was nervous about the Raven segment as it didn't contain many jokes and could have been, quote, the worst, most pretentious thing they had ever done.
Okay.
I can understand that.
I can kind of see that, yeah.
How it could come across as pretentious, especially when you consider what the show was known for at that time.
Yes, yeah.
What season 1 is like.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe is credited as a writer.
All right, nice.
Meaning he is the oldest writer to ever work on The Simpsons.
He will be, yeah.
Oh, James Earl Jones plays 4 characters in this episode.
Yes.
Who are the 4 characters?
So we've got the narrator, we've got one of the, what is it, something the preparer or something like that?
Serac, the preparer.
Yes, that's his name, Serac.
So who are the other 2 characters that he plays?
What was he? Is he the ghost?
No, that's Harry Shearer.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to guess what was he in the first segment?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, go for it.
He was the moving guy. You know, the guy Homer gives him $1 and he's like, I'm glad this place is haunted. That's James Earl Jones. And then he was Serac the preparer.
Yeah.
And he was the alien whose name he can't pronounce as well.
Was he both?
He was both.
Really?
Yeah. I wish they'd kept this up and had James Earl Jones in every single Treehouse of Horror episode.
Yeah.
But I think he's only in this one.
Right.
He was, of course, as we mentioned last season, almost Sideshow Bob.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Very good. The Bart Raven knocks 3 books off the shelf. The Pit and the Pendulum, The Telltale Heart, and The Purloined Letter. All 3 of which are other stories by Edgar Allan Poe. Homer can also be seen drinking from the cask of Amontillado, which is also a story by Poe. Homer can be seen reading Forgotten Lore Volume 2. In the second line of the poem, the narrator is pondering over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore.
Yeah.
The cutting back to the trio segments were actually added in post-production.
All right, really?
So I think the plan was originally to just have 3 separate segments.
Right.
Which is what future Treehouse of Horrors are like.
Okay.
For the most part.
Yeah. Which is why none of them are actually in a treehouse.
Yeah, the treehouse is dropped immediately before it's even part of the title. Before it was even the Treehouse of Horror, you know?
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, I guess you get an extra of what, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of content across the rest.
And there's some ones in the future where they struggle to fit in 3.
Yeah.
Because each of them could be so long and packed full of stuff. You know, one that's kind of short and not very good because it's had its time eaten away.
Yeah. By the rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a little thoughts on the episode in general as our first.
Thoughts on the episode in general. Okay. I liked it. It was a good start.
It's a good introduction to the concept.
Yes. Yeah.
A good variety of 3 segments.
Yeah.
And I think they all felt
a bit unique in their own way.
And Halloween-y as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all sometimes in the future you just get like they'll do an adaptation of like some Iron Man movie for Treehouse of Horror or something.
All right.
And because it's like, well, you
I
can't
haven't
have
even
that.
seen that one.
No, well, you can't have Homer be Iron Man in a normal episode.
Right.
So if Treehouse of Horror becomes this kind of scapegoat for
Just
fancy, wacky
anything.
ideas that wouldn't fit in a normal episode.
Right.
Whereas here it's very specifically Halloween themed.
Yes. Yeah.
It's supposed to be autumny and spooky and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Have a certain ambience.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they achieved that. I think it was. I think it fit quite nicely. It was like I said, the first two are very much. They're really good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. All three of them are really good, but I think the first two are along the lines of when you're looking back on it after watching other ones, they're not as good as you might either remember, or they're not or they're getting overshadowed by other ones that maybe have been done better. The first one definitely. I would say less with the second. The second one has some really good jokes in it that I don't think it definitely had. It two was better than one. We were going to rank.
We were. Two actually reminds me. Do you remember when they did the one where? Do you remember they did the one where Mr. Burns was Dracula?
Yes.
Two kind of reminds me of that.
Right.
Because it's like the Simpsons family get invited to dinner.
Yeah.
And then the person making the dinner has actually got some ulterior motives. They're not what they seem.
Yeah.
Same kind of general outline.
Yeah.
But we were going to rank them. I would say my ranking is 3, 2, 1.
I would agree.
I was counting down before I gave my ranking.
Yeah, right. Well, I would agree with that too.
Yeah, I'd say the first one's the worst one, and then two's in the middle, and then the Raven just can't be beat.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Unless Christopher Lee rocks up.
Yeah, who's sadly never in an episode of The Simpsons, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Not that I recollect, anyway.
No.
I'm sure you'd have told me about that if that was the case.
Oh, I'm sure I would have.
Without a doubt.
I'd have whatever character he played tattooed on my chest.
At least.
All right, I think we can call it there.
Yeah. Oh, boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder.
No blunders.
There was
what was your blunder?
Two that I noticed. I think it was the first segment.
This is, boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder. This is the segment where we talk about errors that we might have spotted in the episode. David.
Yes. I'm usually the one that critiques the shit out of these episodes, clearly. You're just enjoying it.
I've got a big thick pair of rose-tinted glasses on me. Rose-tinted glasses that are so strong I can't even see.
The first segment, the house, was it the Bad Dream House?
Yes.
At one point, Lisa is, for some reason, incredibly pale yellow. Not because she happens to be scared or anything.
Yeah, I remember.
But she's like washed out yellow, whilst the rest of the Simpsons, who are standing at a slightly different part of the screen, are not washed out yellow. They are all normal.
Yeah.
They're all afraid, so it's not because of her being afraid at that particular point in the scene or anything.
Or different lighting or anything.
Nothing like that. They're all standing in the same room, pretty much at a similar angle. So basically no real reason for it. But there you go, there's one. There's another one, I think, in segment 2, where Marge turns around and a good portion of her forehead here becomes transparent, and you can see through it to the background.
I never noticed that.
The hair comes around on the other side, but there's like a big patch, like a big triangle there. I wouldn't say it's massive, but a triangle at that corner of her forehead on the right-hand side. Well, left-hand side if you're looking at her, obviously.
There is one that I did notice.
What's that?
When the family gets let off the spaceship in segment 2, Marge's red pearl necklace is white.
Right.
Once again,
there's another one that I remembered. Same one, number 2. So when the Simpsons are all huddled in the orange light from the beam, inside the spaceship, when they're all huddled together and the aliens come along,
I noticed this one as
You've got the first alien that rocks up and he's, got the reflection of the orange light on him. The other alien rocks up right next to him, but it's only when he turns towards the light that reflection actually affects him, even though the reflection would affect him the entire time because he's right next to it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do the reflection, it should have been there the whole time whilst he was walking up, not just turning.
That's 4 blunders. That's this episode's piss now.
Yep.
In the bin.
Pile of shite.
I'm afraid I'm putting it in the bin.
The Raven, I couldn't spot any.
No, the Raven is pretty perfect.
Yeah, I think they obviously put a fair amount of effort into that one. I'm not to say that they didn't put any effort into the first two.
Yeah.
But I think they put a lot of effort into that one.
I think they knew they had to really nail the Raven.
Yeah.
Because you can't just kind of coast on the jokes like you can with the first two.
Yeah.
Or the interesting visuals. You have to really...
Yeah. Although they did a bit of, like, it's not that they coasted on it, but they did a lot of interesting visuals with the Raven too.
That's what I'm saying, is that's why they had so many interesting visuals, because they couldn't just rely on funny.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, otherwise,
that's it.
Yeah.
Be sure to like this video if you're on YouTube, or leave a 5-star review if you're on a podcasting website or a Spotify or some such.
That's the one. You
can follow us on Instagram at InsertBrainHerePod, or on Twitter at T422.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to check out our website, insertbrainhere.podcastpage.io. I've been your... This is a T2 production. I've been your host, Connor, and with me as always has been my co-host, David.
That's me. Smell you later.
Good night from us, and we'll smell you later. Ta-ta. A spooky goodbye, because this is whatever.